If you've ever noticed that some people are only interested in you when you're not interested in them, you're not alone. In today's video, we'll look at 9 solid signs that they're only interested in you when you're not interested in them. Whether you have a friend who isn't reliable, a relationship that goes in and out, or you're just interested in this strange behavior, we're going to break it all down. So stay tuned. Number 1. A quick rise in attention. Have you ever noticed that someone's behavior changes quickly? One day they seem distant, uninterested, or even indifferent, and the next, they are overly attentive, reaching out and trying to engage with you all the time. This sudden increase in attention can be confusing, and you might wonder what has changed. Understanding the dynamics behind this shift can help you handle your relationships better. When someone sees that they are losing you emotionally or physically, they often pay more attention to you all of a sudden. This is because they are afraid of losing you, which makes them want to get your attention and affection back. Ego boost. If someone feels like they are no longer the center of your attention, their ego may feel threatened. To improve their self-esteem, they may try to get your attention again, even if they were the center of your attention before. Not caring about pushing limits. A sudden increase in attention can be a way for someone to test your boundaries and see how much control they still have over you. They may be interested in seeing if they can still get a response from you, especially if you have started to pull away. Fear of missing out. If someone thinks that you are moving on or finding happiness elsewhere, they may suddenly become more attentive. The fear of missing out on something they took for granted can push them to re-engage with you. Manipulation. In some cases, the sudden increase in attention is a way for someone to control or manipulate your emotions, keeping you in their grasp by giving you just enough attention to keep your interest. Outside factors. People may become more aware all of a sudden because of changes in their situation, social pressure, or advice from others. They may be acting on someone else's advice or because of a change in their own situation. Desire for validation. If someone is feeling insecure or unsure about themselves, they may look for validation from you by focusing on your positive answer. Can be used as confirmation of their worth and desire time and ease of use. The person's increased attention might not be about you at all, but about when and how convenient it is for them. They may have more time or fewer distractions, which makes them focus on you more than before. Think about why they are paying more attention to you. It's important to think about why there is such a sudden rise in attention. Is it real, or is it for personal gain? Figuring out what caused the attention can help you decide how to react and whether to interact with it. Sudden increases in attention can be flattering, confusing, or even suspicious. If you know what might be causing this behavior, you can better evaluate the situation and decide what to do next, whether the attention is real or just a way to get back in control. What you say should depend on your own wants and limits. Number 2. It can be tricky to make touch after you've moved on. If you want to reach out to an ex-partner, a former friend, or someone you've grown apart from, you should think about it carefully. This could be a chance for closure, rekindling a connection, or just affirming your growth. But you should be sure your intentions are clear and you're ready for whatever happens. Think about your goals before you reach out. Take some time to think about why you want to get in touch. Are you looking for closure? Whether you're trying to start something new or are just interested, being honest about your goals will help you avoid making things more difficult than they need to be. Make sure you've really moved on. You need to be honest with yourself about whether you've really moved on. If you're still emotionally attached or hoping for a certain result, it may be too soon to reach out. Contacting someone too soon can bring up old wounds. Choose the right time. Timing is everything, so make sure that both you and the other person have had enough time to heal and grow. Also, don't reach out during highly charged times like anniversaries or important dates that could bring up old feelings. Keep it short and sweet when you first get in touch. A casual, "Hey, hope you're doing well" message can be less intimidating and give the other person time to decide how they want to react. Be ready for any outcome. Know that the other person might not be ready or willing to get back together. Be ready for the chance that they won't reply or may not want to start dating again. Be aware of their limits. If the other person doesn't want to talk to you, respect their space. You shouldn't try to get them to talk to you more or tell them it's important to respect their feelings and room. Think about growing as a person. Take some time to think about how you've changed since the breakup. This is your chance to show how you've grown and developed. It's okay to talk about the past, but don't bring up old arguments or problems that haven't been solved. Instead, keep the chat on a positive note. Instead of focusing on what went wrong in the past, pay attention to the present and the future. Be honest but polite. If they ask you why you're reaching out, be honest about your reasons, but be polite. You can say that you just wanted to check in or see how they're doing without making it sound like you want more. Know when to end the conversation. If the conversation feels forced or awkward, it might be best to end it on a good note. If it's clear that neither person is getting anything out of the conversation, don't drag it out. Making touch with someone after moving on can be a big step toward personal growth. Journey. It needs careful thought, honesty, and by going into the situation with an open mind and heart, and respecting both your own and the other person's feelings, you can get through this tricky process with number 3. Grace and growth being envious when they show interest in someone else. When one partner starts to show interest in someone else, it can lead to jealousy. This response has deep roots in human psychology and can tell you a lot about how people interact with each other. Figuring out why people get jealous and how to deal with it can help you run your relationships better. Feelings that people have. When someone thinks that a close relationship is in danger, they may feel jealousy. This feeling can be caused by the fear of losing someone's love or attention. The desire to be unique. Many people really want to be the only person in a relationship, and when their partner seems to be interested in someone else, it can make them feel insecure and not good enough. Seeing someone interested in someone else can often help the person they're with understand how much they might lose if they break up with that person. This might make the person pay more attention and work harder to keep the friendship going. How power works. Jealousy can also show how power works in a relationship. The person who is being jealous may feel more powerful or in charge, while the person who is jealous may feel weak. Problems with talking. Lack of clear conversation often leads to jealousy. Misunderstandings and assumptions can make people jealous, which can lead to fights and anger. Think about yourself. Jealousy can be a chance to think about yourself. It can make people look at their own fears and the real reasons behind their anger. Set healthy limits. Setting and keeping healthy limits is important for keeping jealousy at bay. Setting clear rules for what is and isn't okay to do can help people who are jealous feel better. When jealousy is handled in a healthy way, it can help people grow as people and build emotional security and trust in their relationships. Jealousy is often a sign of broken trust that needs to be fixed in order to keep a relationship healthy. Getting over jealousy. To learn how to deal with jealousy, you need to see it as a normal feeling, be honest with your partner, and work on boosting your confidence. Fourth, promise to change only when you're done. In relationships, it's normal for one person to say they'll change only when the other person has had enough and is ready to leave. Behavior shows a greater problem of controlling emotions, not feeling safe, or not being committed. To build healthy, respectful interactions with others, it's important to know why this happens and how to fix it. Recognizing the pattern. People often say they will change when they feel like they are losing control, or when their partner is about to leave. This response can come from a fear of losing control, rather than a real wish to grow or improve. In these situations, promises made to stay can be a form of emotional manipulation meant to keep the partner, not a real desire to change. This can lead to a cycle where one partner keeps giving in hope for change that never really happens. Seeing the red flags. When someone is going through a breakup, only offering change is a big red flag. It means that the person might not be ready to do what's needed for a healthy connection unless they're afraid of losing it. The false hope of change that was promised. When you're under pressure, you might change temporarily, But once the threat of losing the relationship is gone, old habits tend to come back. This can hurt your self-esteem and sense of worth. Staying in a relationship where change is only promised as a last resort can make you think that your needs are only important when the relationship is at risk. Setting limits. Setting clear limits and standards right away is very important. Tell them that they need to keep working hard and growing, not just when things are going badly. Action speaks louder than words. Real change is shown by actions that are consistent over time, not just words spoken in times of crisis. It's important to see if the changes that were promised are followed by actions that can be seen going forward. If someone only says they'll change when you're ready to leave, you might want to think about ending the connection. Respecting each other, putting in consistent effort, and wanting to grow together are all important parts of a good relationship. Self-awareness can help with this. Realizing this pattern gives you the power to make choices that put your health first. You should value yourself enough to expect the respect and consistency you deserve in a relationship. This lesson shows how important it is to spot manipulative patterns and know that real change takes work, not just empty promises made when someone is desperate. Number 5. Extra effort to impress you. If someone starts to put in extra effort to impress you all of a sudden, it's usually a sign that they're trying to get your approval, attention, or affection. This extra effort can show up in many ways, from changes in how they look to actions and movements that are more carefully thought out. Figuring out the reasons behind this, how you act, can help you handle relationships better. Figuring out if their goals are good or just a reaction to something they see as a threat to your relationship with them. Sudden focus on appearance. People may start dressing better, grooming themselves more carefully, or adopting new styles that they think you'll like. This change usually means that they want to be more attractive or appealing in your eyes. Increased acts of kindness or generosity. People may start doing more favors for you, giving gifts or offering to help with tasks they didn't do before. These actions are usually attempts to show how valuable and important they are in your life. More communication and availability. They answer your texts, calls, and messages more quickly, and sometimes even start talks more often. This is a clear attempt to stay on your mind and be a strong presence in your daily life. More thoughtful and planned dates, talks with cha-cha. With bigger plans or surprises, the quality and care of the time spent together has changed in a clear way. Most of the time, this is done to make memories and build emotional bonds. Too many compliments and praise. They may start to compliment you more often, focused on how you look, what you've done, or your personality. This could be an attempt to boost your self-esteem while subtly trying to make you like them more. If they suddenly become interested in your hobbies or passions, they may show interest in your favorite activities or topics, even if they weren't interested before. This is usually a move to find common ground and shared experiences in order to become more relevant to your life. Of behavior, if they see any potential. When they play rivals, they may be cautious or competitive. Behavior that tries to impress you more than others. This could mean that they are insecure or afraid of losing your attention or affection. More focus on self-improvement. They may start doing things to improve their personal growth, like learning new skills, getting in better shape, or chasing their goals more. Aggressively. People often do these things because they want to improve themselves so that you will admire them more. Too many check-ins or too much talking, constantly checking in to see how your day went, or to make sure you know they're thinking about them. If they feel the need to constantly tell you of their presence, it could be a sign that they are feeling insecure. Over-the-top gestures are big actions that don't seem appropriate for the stage or nature of your relationship, like giving you expensive gifts or making very emotional statements. There are times when these are more about them wanting your attention than really showing how they feel. The goal of this lesson is to help you spot these signs, figure out why people are putting in more effort, and decide if it's real or just a reaction to threats or feelings of insecurity. Number 6. Making you feel guilty into rethinking. Making someone feel guilty is a common way to get them to change their mind about something. When someone guilt trips you into rethinking a choice, like ending a relationship, turning down an offer, or standing by a personal boundary, they are using your compassion and sense of duty to change your mind. This behavior that puts too much pressure on you can be overt or covert, but it always makes you make choices that aren't in your best interests or what you really want. Being aware of guilt-tripping people often use words like, "after all I've done for you," or "I thought you cared," to make others feel guilty. Know that these comments are meant to make you feel like you're in charge of the other person's feelings. Knowing why someone uses guilt to keep control over you is important. The person may be feeling insecure or afraid of losing control and uses guilt to keep control over you. This is often a sign of emotional manipulation and can be a red flag in relationships. For the victim, guilt-tripping can cause anxiety, self-doubt, and low self-esteem, which can make them question their decisions over and over again. As a defense, you often put the other person's needs before your own. Setting and sticking to firm limits is important to keep yourself safe from guilt-tripping. Don't be afraid to say no, and don't feel like you have to explain your choices. Excessively reacting to guilt trips directly address the manipulation by saying, "I feel like you're trying to make me feel guilty." Bring the conversation back to the problem at hand instead of letting it drift off. Think about how you feel. Looking at the relationship. Think about whether the person often uses guilt as a coping mechanism and the health of the relationship as a whole. Consistent guilt tripping may point to a harmful dynamic that needs to be fixed or even stopped. Putting self-care first. Know that your feelings and well-being are important and shouldn't be put at risk by someone else's cruel actions. Take care of yourself to boost your sense of self-worth and mental strength. If guilt tripping gets too much for you, you might want to get help from trusted friends, family, or a therapist. Getting advice from outside sources can help you understand and deal with your problems. The seventh situation: frequent apologies and declarations of love. When a relationship is having problems or starts to fall apart, some people try to fix things by saying sorry and declaring love a lot. While these actions may seem sincere at first, they are often a sign of deeper problems like insecurity, guilt, or a need to take back control of the situation. This lesson looks at why these behaviors happen, what they might mean, and how to deal with them in a healthy way. Circle of feeling guilty and making peace. A pattern of frequent apologies may show that one partner regularly breaks rules or hurts others, which can make the other person feel guilty. This can lead to a cycle where the guilty person apologizes to feel better, instead of fixing the real problem. In some cases, mental manipulation is used. It's possible to use frequent declarations of love after an argument or problem to control the other person's emotions. This can be done to soften the blow of an argument or to make them feel bad for being upset, which takes the focus off of the real problem, which is insecurity and fear of loss. If your partner often says sorry or "I love you," they may be acting out of insecurity or fear of losing the relationship. They may be doing this because they need encouragement or think their partner is about to leave. Fixes on the surface. It's possible for explanations and declarations of love to be short-term fixes that don't get to the root of the relationship's problems without real change or effort to solve them. These acts can lose their power over time and become hollow. Figuring out goals. It's important to think about the meanings behind all the explanations and declarations of love. Are they real, or are they just a way to avoid disagreement and keep things the same? Figuring out why someone is acting this way can help you tell if the relationship is stable or if there are greater problems that need to be dealt with by setting limits. Setting clear limits and standards can help break the cycle of saying sorry and "I love you" all the time. Both partners need to be honest about how they feel and work together to solve problems instead of depending on quick fixes. Making real connections. For real emotional connection, trust and mutual respect are more important than repeated apologies and empty declarations of love. Focusing on building a strong, honest relationship will lead to more meaningful and lasting love. Frequent apologies and declarations of love can be a sign of underlying problems in a relationship. They may ease tension temporarily, but they don't usually solve the problems by figuring out the patterns and motivations. Behind these actions Both partners can work on making the relationship healthier and more solid, where love is shown through actions. Number 8. Sudden realization of your worth in relationships. It's common for someone to suddenly seem to see how valuable you are, often after a period of neglect or undervaluation. This sudden realization can be confusing and even frustrating. Understanding this dynamic can help you handle these situations better and make decisions that are best for you. In this lesson, we'll look at the reasons behind these sudden realizations, how to understand them, and what steps you might want to take about the delayed appreciation issue. A lot of people don't fully understand how valuable someone is until they've been hurt or are afraid of losing them. This often happens when they see you doing well or moving on, which makes them realize what they've lost. Other reasons for quick realization. If your ex sees you with someone else or doing well, it can make them understand how valuable you are. Think about yourself. Taking time apart can help you think about yourself. Letting them see how valuable you are more clearly, fear of loss. People may quickly realize how valuable something is when they are afraid of losing it. This can have an effect on how you feel. Realizing this can make you feel a lot of different feelings, like approval, confusion, or frustration. B. Reevaluation of the border. It could make you think about your limits and what you expect from the relationship again. Comparing real change to short-term awareness, a consistent check to see if their recognition of your worth shows up in consistent changes in behavior change plans. Think about whether their actions are based on real goals, or if they are just reacting to their loss. Before you decide what to say, think about what you need. Check to see if their sudden realization fits with your goals and wants right now. Put your health and happiness first by focusing on what's best for you emotionally and in the long run. When you choose to interact, be clear about how you feel and what you expect. Clearly so that no one gets confused moving on thoughts on oneself. Think about what this experience has taught you about your own worth and boundaries. Use what you've learned to improve yourself and set better standards for future interactions. Figuring out why someone might suddenly see how valuable you are can help you handle these situations with clarity and confidence. By focusing on your own needs and setting clear limits, you can make sure that any relationship goes well. Dynamics work in your favor if you have the life number 9. Trying to get back into your life in subtle ways. As you go through relationships and personal growth, it's normal to run into people from your past who are trying to get back into your life. These attempts can be subtle, often seeming harmless or casual. Recognizing these small attempts is important for keeping your boundaries and making smart choices about your relationships. Unintentional touch. Keep an eye out for social media messages or comments that seem out of the blue. These can be a way for someone to see if you're interested in getting back in touch with old friends or hobbies. If they bring up old memories or inside jokes or things you both like, this could be a way to reconnect without coming across as too pushy. Casual events. Take note if they find reasons to be where they know you'll be, like events or gatherings. This could be a sneaky way to get in touch with them. Links between each other. If mutual friends or acquaintances talk about them, or if they seem to use these ties to find out more about you, pay attention. Watch out for sneaky ways they might try to figure out how you feel, like asking about you in other people's conversations or using third parties to do so. If they change how they act, it could mean they are trying to be more accommodative or agreeable to make a return seem more natural. If they offer help or support for something you might be going through, be wary. This could be a way for them to get back into your life by pretending to be helpful. If they try to get you to feel something by telling you personal stories or saying they're sorry for things they did in the past, this could be an attempt to soften your stance. Guilt trips. If they try to make you feel bad for not reconnecting or moving on, this could be a way to control your emotions. Consistency in efforts. Pay attention to how constant their efforts are. Are they random or half-hearted? As you can see, persistent attempts may be more serious, while subtle attempts to re-enter your life are important for keeping healthy boundaries and making sure that your relationships are based on mutual respect and genuine connection. By staying vigilant and thoughtful, you can handle these situations with clarity and confidence. There are 9 clear signs that someone is only interested in you after you've moved on. This is a frustrating but common pattern. Remember that your worth isn't based on someone's short-term interest. Real connections are made through mutual respect and genuine feelings, not by chasing after someone who only values you when you're not available. Focus on relationships where you're always respected and don't have to fight for attention. If you like this video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos about relationships and self-worth. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and remember that you deserve to be with someone who values you every day, not just when you're not available.